right, it's finally time. We have to talk about the terrain for this mega base because, well, it can't just stay like this. The base is coming along absolutely beautifully, and although we have not neglected the interior or the exterior, we have neglected gravity itself, and this base is still floating on episode 12. It is time today, though. We can officially put it off no longer. And I do actually have a few ideas on what I want to do around here. So what do you say we start by just cleaning all this area up? And there's literally like a crater under the base right now. It's base cleanup day. I too am watching this back and wondering why I didn't just burn it down, but I didn't want to risk my mega base, and also the spruce wood is pretty useful for the interior. Okay, here we go. We now have a nice sort of blank-ish slate to begin our landscaping. And I do think I'm gonna call it landscaping and not really terraforming, because the terraforming that we're going to be doing is relatively flat. What we need, first of all, is a pathway, and this cobblestone one is not really gonna cut it, although it's done a good job for now. What I actually need right here is a grand pathway, and I'm thinking like those mansions that have like the whole carriage, like roundabout thing going on here. You know, you drop off the royalty at the front door. That is the sort of vibe that we need. And then in between, like right here, we need like flower gardens and stuff. It needs to look pretty regal, I think. I'm going to be laying most of this out in stone today, but that's just because I'm using what I have on me. I don't think this path will actually be stone. I just have a lot of stone. May as well use it for now. I have a haste 2 beacon over there, so the nice thing about the stone is I can insta-break it to get rid of it and change it out for what we actually want later on. This season, I'm trying to do a fairly good job of balancing what I practice in creative mode and what I do not. Last episode, I practiced the interior in creative mode. This episode, I have not practiced this in creative mode. So I don't know what we're doing any more than you do, but you know, we'll pull it off. It'll be fine. The important thing here is partway, we need to create kind of a circular base, and this is either going to be a fountain or a statue that kind of marks the middle here, and then the path will go around it. So we just need like a general circle here as a placeholder. And actually, for the scale of this build, it needs to be one bigger. Oh gosh. This is good though, because fountains in Minecraft actually do look way better when they're bigger. Okay, there we go. Pretend that's a fountain or something. Now we just fill in around it. All right, I've brought in some slabs to help me also establish this. I think I just want to get like, yeah, a flower bed in here, and I think like that probably is good. It doesn't need to be too impressive. And then the other thing that we really need to establish is how wide this path is. Now this is 7 across. This is 5 across. I think 7 is our better number here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 as long as I pull this in this way. Let's just see. I think anything smaller than 7 blocks wide on a build like this is just, it's gonna look tiny and not in scale with everything else that's going on. In order for this to work, you have to literally be able to imagine that a carriage would be able to pull up here and fully turn around. Which means we also need at least 7 blocks from the edge of the fountain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, this is good. I'm actually really enjoying the shape of this so far. I think I'm just going to allow this to kind of sit here whilst I build the terrain and see how I feel about it. Now at this stage, it's very easy for me to get bogged down in the details. I immediately found myself like going in my storage room and figuring out like what sort of patterns I could do on the floor here, what bushes and light posts I'm going to have here, but those are details. And if I do those details right now, I will not only have a floating citadel mega base thing, I'll also have a floating fountain that's very pretty and very detailed. So I won't have solved any of my problems. Instead, what I need to actually do is the terrain. And so I've started kind of mapping out with a little bit of moss. And I really do just have to go all the way along here and decide where exactly our terrain sits, where our pathways are, how the rocks and stuff look. It's a whole thing, okay? Landscaping, it's not really my favorite, but it is important. Yep, that right there, that's a full stack of moss. Okay. So this is gonna be a long one. If you're curious why I'm suddenly terraforming this area rather than building terrain in that area, this is a hill that's going to blend in with a bunch of terrain that Grian is doing, and you can see that he's flattening this. It's not going to be flattened, don't worry, it's only going to go to like there-ish, just so that there's a little bit of a better viewpoint between us. And then I'm going to do like a pretty waterfall here, and he's going to do stuff on his side, and it's just one of the points where bases need to connect together. While I'm landscaping, of course, I'm thinking about my neighbors the whole time. It's like the most important part. And I do have a few interesting ideas to connect me to Joel, my colorful neighbor, and I've also thought about my connection to Tango and his ginormous mountain, or anthill. For Tango, actually, it's worth pointing out that the biome between us is a mega taiga, which is one of my favorite biomes in the whole entire game, and I'm actually happy with it. A mega taiga is kind of perfect to have at the bottom of a mega mountain and a mega build, so I'm happy to leave this and kind of blend the mega taiga into whatever I do. It's this side between Grian and Joel that I'm a little bit more worried about. Okay, I've been time-lapsing for a bit now, but let me bring you all in on the creative process a little bit. I'm kind of just smoothing everything out. I want this walkway here. I want us to have options to build along here, basically. So I know it looks boring right now, but I think it's important. And basically, all I'm doing is building a section, kind of smoothing it out, and then I get up from my computer, and I do a lap around my office, and I really think about it. And then I come back and I place some more blocks, and it's, you know, it's not the best creative process, but we are ending up with some smooth shapes here. And I've started on some cliffs here. So I'm thinking this path right here is actually going to continue along to the doorway that faces Joel there. So we've got like this cool cliff thing here, and I want to do something similar on the other side now that I've kind of begun smoothing this out. So obviously we're still floating over here. We need to get that connected to the ground. Only problem is I want to build out of tuff and other kind of tuff colored blocks, but I don't really have that much tuff. So instead of worrying about the exact color right now, I'm just going to switch to stone, and we'll pretend that the stone is tuff, and I'll replace it later. And all I'm going to do, I think, is build up a bunch of cliffs over here. Landscaping in Minecraft for me is a lot of trial and error, and to be honest, I've been putting off the terrain for quite a while, as you may have noticed. I think this is because I was really worried my landscaping is going to be fairly underwhelming, or I guess I know it's fairly underwhelming. Although the terrain I'm doing may not have that wow factor, it's not a reason not to work on it. It's super key to connecting this entire area together, and I actually kind of enjoyed relaxing into the process a little bit. I am very sad to announce that I definitely need a moss farm. I have to have one. I have to make one, which is absurd because it feels like a lot of people on this server have moss farms. None of them have shops, not a single one. I'd gladly give up my diamonds for moss, but nobody is selling moss right now, which, if any hermits are watching this, actually, you know what, it's not even gonna matter after this episode because I think I just have to make one. The good news is, though, the terrain is looking great, I think. I mean, literally, I've been doing this for 6 hours, I think. We have not made all that much visual progress, but things are very smoothed out. They're very well shaped, I think. I'm enjoying the kind of slow slope we have going up there, and again on this side, a couple of cliffs mixed in. I'm going for terrain inspired by the mega taiga. So we're gonna have lots of little like mossy boulders and stuff all mixed in. I know it doesn't look very impressive right now. I'm hoping some coloring and some custom trees and stuff will help. Anyways, moss farm. Moss farm. I'm going to follow a tutorial for this, so I'll save you the details, but I'm going to build it under the room that we built last episode.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, XP.
How you doing?
Oh, good. I'm forced to build a moss farm, XP, because
What?
you weren't online and nobody's selling moss.
You could just like pop over and grab. Well, how much do you need? Like,
It's okay.
I mean, you're building it anyway.
I've
but
gotten this far now. I must carry on. But it is truly a shame that there are no shops on this server.
Can I steal you for like 2 minutes,
Yeah,
real quick?
you can.
Yeah. Okay. Follow me to my base. Okay. So I have a problem. All right. There's things that I'm just not good at, and I know that. I accept that, and I just yeah.
Yeah, me too.
So in these corners, I guess you could call them corners here, right? Like right here. I want to put like a statement tree.
A statement tree?
There's 4 of them. Yeah, just like a tree that says like this is, just like it makes a statement. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I was wondering, what are the odds of hiring someone to make that a thing?
How big are these trees?
Well, so I definitely want the golem to be the highest point, right?
Okay, definitely
So
not
beyond
golem
that-
size. That's good.
If it kind of hung over the edge, I wouldn't mind.
Okay,
Like, that's
so are you
fine.
picturing like willow tree, oak tree, cypress tree, spruce tree? What are we working with?
yes.
What's the biome?
Yes.
Okay. Looks like we got ourselves a job. I better start thinking of some trees. I'm not gonna lie, I have just had to have the quickest Google ever because I think this farm could very nearly burn my entire interior. Because obviously this is lava, because this is a stone generator, because this is a moss farm. But this is me measuring out 5 blocks. So the lava is 6 blocks below my wooden floor. According to the wiki, it can spread 5. I got lucky. I got so extremely lucky. I think, in theory, this can't catch my wooden floor on fire. I hope. It seems fine so far anyway. My god, there are so many zombies. I really am just gonna be sitting here really paranoid for a little while. Okay, no sign of fire in my beautiful interior. So I think we're safe to say that I officially have a working moss farm in the basement. Oh, thank goodness. Look how productive it is as well. It's producing its own bone meal beautifully, and hopefully it should be sustaining that. I'm only down 4 bone meals so far from running this, so yeah, it is sustaining its own bone meal. Oh, this is so nice. Okay, think I'm officially ready to get back to terrain. I'm getting in the weeds with the texturing. I really shouldn't be getting in the weeds with the texturing because we're not even done the shaping, but I just kind of, I wanted to see how we were doing, how it was looking, and it's not bad. It's not exactly what I want yet, though, either. The new moss farm has definitely made placing all of this terrain a lot easier. I'm very happy. And I think for a bit of fairly flat terrain, this is looking good. Now, what I'm taking inspiration from is the mega taiga. So we're gonna have like lots of little boulders and bits all around here, and it's gonna take some time with some detail. I need stairs and slabs and walls and stuff to make this really look good, but let me just place a couple around to kind of remind ourselves what we're doing. And then on the flat part down here, it's going to be a little bit more kind of groomed looking, and that's why I've left it so flat, but we will do custom trees. And I'd also like to do a gradient from moss into grass into eventually podzol, so that it properly blends into a mega taiga-like aesthetic. The more I look at this flat area over here, it just needs a little something, and I originally took a layer of grass off of here. I'm just gonna put it back with moss. I think we need a little bit more shape, and this has kind of been the entire process of the terrain here. I remove shapes, and then I put them back, and then I remove them again, and we just go back and forth until we get a design that we're generally happy with. All right, I've given the shaping of this terrain a significant amount of my time now, and it's obviously a long way off of finished, but we're definitely at a point where we can get a little bit more in the weeds with some of the details. And I don't just mean the color of the terrain. I'd like to also do some of the details of this pathway, maybe some lights along here, and we need a path going from this area here all the way over here to this doorway, because well, right now it looks really silly. I'm trying to look at what I want for a path, and here's kind of what I'm imagining, right? And then doing this makes me wish that there was brown in cobblestone, which there's not, but there is a leaf litter. Huh? That could actually work, I think. It can't be as perfect as this, but I think that could work for our side path. Okay, now I have to figure out how to transition to this path because it's a little bit more narrow and a little bit more rustic than the previous path. It's kind of more of a garden path. I like the leaf details, actually. This is great as a garden path. I don't want to like overdo them and have them be everywhere and super messy, but definitely like scattering them in like this is so fun. This tiny bit of path progress has greatly motivated me to work on another chunk of terrain because this path needs to actually go somewhere and well, that's not gonna do it. Back to work. I'm actually thinking this should be fairly simple because I'm gonna do pretty much a flat platform up here that's fairly large. Playing around with the idea of potentially having red flowers everywhere around the actual citadel. And at the moment it might look very strange, but I'm hoping it's gonna give kind of a cool like red gradient effect because there'll be less and less as you move away from the build. I just have like a ton of poppies and I feel like this could potentially be a cool way to use them. There it is, the first little hillside of landscaping for the mega base. It's not bad, but there's also a lot more we can do with it. And actually, there's a lot more we can do with this entire side of the base because if you haven't noticed, it's completely plain. No details, no texturing, nothing. And as a little reward for all my landscaping I've been doing, I think I'd like to work on that a little bit. It's flying buttress time. Yep, you heard me right. Now, I will say we're diving a bit into fantasy here, okay? I'm taking some liberties with the flying buttress, but I do want to have some because I think they'll just look great on this pillar and this pillar to kind of look like a little bit more structurally supportive, and mostly I like the whimsy of like the pointy structures. These flying buttresses are going to have a nice little gradient in them using all of these blocks going all the way up to pale oak. Hopefully that should look pretty good. Oh, I think I need cobblestone. Shoot. Cobblestone. Needs cobblestone. There we go. That makes such a big difference already. What is going on? That is the biggest hat. My gosh, is that Mary Poppins?
I tried to swoop in with some aura, but failed horribly because I'm sick, Gem.
Oh, you're sick. I can hear that you're sick. Oh.
Yeah, it's okay. It's fine. You just get to play Minecraft when you're sick, right?
Yeah.
That's
Have
the good
you
thing
have you
about
had
being
your
sick.
allotted 10 cups of tea?
I've had my 10 cups of tea. I've had an entire lemon today.
Oh dear.
I was hoping you would help me test something.
Oh dear. Okay.
It'll only take like 5 minutes.
Sure. Yep.
Okay, awesome.
Should I
awesome.
empty my inventory?
No. That'll be fine. No need to empty the inventory. Everything's going to be fine.
I don't believe you.
Okay. No, seriously. For once, I can assure you there will be no death.
Okay. All right. Lead the way.
Okay, this way. So, Jem,
Uh-huh.
I am working on the final stretch of the Nautilus racecourse, of Cover Nautilus racecourse.
Very cool.
But it's an important one, right? Because it's the finish line. Like, it's the final bit
Yeah.
that you have to go through. So it's got to be, like, fun, fast, epic,
Yeah. Whoa, a lot
It has
has
to be
changed.
all of the things. But I'm not 100% sure whether or not all of these things have been achieved.
But this river looks cool.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's a filtration canal, Jim.
It's a canal. Of course it's a canal. It's beautiful.
It's filtrating the Hermit polluted river for the city of Trillium. It's a whole thing.
Love that. Okay, sure.
I just want to see. You have to go through here, though. Yeah, let's start on the other side of this thing. And I'm going to follow you, okay? So I'm going to tell you
You
nothing.
just want me to go through this?
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
it?
Yeah. See if you can do it. That's
Okay.
it. Okay.
I'm going.
All right. Go.
Off I go.
Now, bear in mind, there might be there might be faster ways to go than the current route that you've chosen.
Right, but the route that I've chosen is straight.
That's true.
Okay. I don't see any other holes in here.
Okay. This is fine. So you've chosen the underwater route. Very nice.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Well, I'm
looking
not
good so
really
far.
familiar with Nautilus. Okay, so you want me to jump here.
Yep.
Oi, come on, Nautilus.
Yeah, so that's the final obstacle. You have to do the jump.
I see, and now I'm in the open ocean. I'm free.
You're free! Okay, cool. That was good. So you chose to go through the underwater section, like through the holes in the walls.
Yeah.
There is also the option to do the hop over the top.
Yeah, every time. I wonder if
Yeah.
that's faster. Probably, right? Oh.
Well, the way that I've tried to set these segments up is that you should be able to boost and then boost again to jump over the top if you get the timing perfect. So you should be able to like boost and then jump and then boost and then jump. And that would be like the fastest way to get through the section.
All right, that was lovely, but look at this. The end rods on top mean at nighttime it's so bright. I really like that. I think that's turned out great. Obviously now we just need one more. No problemo, I got this. The video has taken a strange turn. I am now mowing Joel's lawn. I just know he doesn't need these leaves or this grass. Really, if you think about it, he should be paying me for this. Okay, now not to get distracted, but I'm going to try to pull something off with these red flowers. I just need, I think, a couple more red flowers. Luckily, I have so many. Since this side of the base is close to Joel, somebody in the comment section had a really good idea of basically making it look like Joel has removed some of the color from my land. And I can do this in the trees by using the pale oak leaves in place of like the spruce leaves that I might normally use in a custom tree. But I was also wondering if I could do it by just adding in on this side a few white flowers and then eventually fading it to be completely white flowers. Huh? What do you think? I don't know. It's gonna be hard right now to get that looking convincing, but that's my idea. I have not brought this idea up with Joel, but I do think it's a really interesting way to have like a nod towards his base on the edge of my base over here. Anyways, now I'm replanting Joel's grass over here on my lawn. It's been a weird day of landscaping. All right, I've been thinking about it a bit more, and I really want these overgrown rose bushes to be like prickly. This is almost a defense for this mega base. So I was thinking what is literally prickly in the game, and it's berry bushes, obviously. Like, let's actually put some of these around. Since sweet berries are prickly and red, it should work out. I feel like there was a fairy tale I must have read at some point in my childhood that had like overgrown roses as like a magic spell put on a castle to bar everyone inside or whatever. Or something that like, maybe it was Sleeping Beauty? I'm not sure, but that's definitely what I'm taking my inspiration from here. Roses in Minecraft do not look that menacing, but I think the vibe is generally correct. And speaking of the vibe, I have had an idea. Please allow me to get sort of distracted for a moment. I've been thinking a lot about this area right here. This transition. I have a very straight and fancy path leading up to a very big build right here. And then over here I have a very rustic path leading to a cute little tavern and a big mountain range over there. You know, the styles are slightly clashing and they come very close together right here. So the question is, how am I going to connect these together and get the vibe to shift as you walk along this rustic path towards my very large mega base? I've been thinking a gate. A really big iron gate. You know, like the typical one that's at the front of a driveway that's entirely made of this like ornate iron. You know what I'm talking about. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you will when I'm done. Trust me. A gate should hopefully be a pretty straightforward way to do this transition. I'm going to have it be like it's swung half open. So these are the doors and they're inside. And then we have along here the actual like fencing, I guess. And I'm not going to do a super high fencing, and I'm not going to do it on all 4 sides. We're just going to have like a kind of front facing fencing, I guess. It just needs to be like a little lead in, a little warm up, if you will. You know, I'm starting to think this gate is coming at the perfect time. There's literal pillagers walking through my fields. What the heck? Hey, I'm building a gate just for you. God, this is a large party, isn't it? There's a lot of you guys. My goodness, shoot each other, please. Thank you, thank you. Okay, that's enough. Ugh. For the actual fencing itself, it's not going to be super functional. I'm just going to use some wall blocks like this to create the first effect. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to change height, I'll be real, but let's try to do a small section first and see how it works out. I'm thinking we can just do a slab on top, and we need to change direction this way. In between these gaps, we could do a fence because fences don't connect to walls, but I was thinking to keep with the color, we would just do chains. Obviously, I can still get through here, but this is more about the aesthetic choice than being an actual fence. For the actual gates, I'm gonna have to do a shape here that sort of makes it look like these are swinging open, which means I actually need this part to be taller than this part. It needs to look like it's swing closed and closed kind of right here, maybe 1 higher. And connecting the iron bars in a straight line makes this little squiggle, which is probably good. Do you know what? I haven't actually found a good use for iron bars in quite some time. I've been using the chains, I feel like, for everything I used to use iron bars for. This looks good though, right? With the way that that kind of staircases up like that, it looks like it could swing closed and fit into this shape. I mean, it's close enough. This gate design is very much inspired by Scar's zoo. Although my build does not have half the whimsy that his zoo entrance had, I think just the way that Scar does environments is absolutely amazing. And something I've really admired about his last couple of builds is the way that he really frames out an entranceway. And I think it's something I could definitely learn from him. Obviously, I want to finish all the parts of the build, but the entrance is really your first impression, so doing something quite ornate like this could be good, I think. Now, obviously, we need to remove the torches and fix the cobblestone road, but generally, I like this. Now we have a gate. We still don't have a connection to the path. Luckily, I think this next part's going to be very, very easy. I'm just going to kind of gradually transition this over and make like a little path here. Should be easy peasy. First thing I'm gonna do with this path is mix in a little bit of andesite. I don't think I'd like for it to be solid cobblestone. I don't know what exactly I want for the texture mix on this to actually be, but starting with a little bit of andesite will be a good jumping off point. Do know for sure that I want to line the edges with the deep slate. I think that's going to give a nice amount of contrast, and we can also do some lamps along the path, which should be super nice. And to help this gradient even more, we can use a couple of buttons and some leaves, as soon as I get some. I think leaf litter might actually be the MVP of this episode. That looks so good as a transition with those little couple of details. Okay, now I did mention podzol earlier, so we are gonna try some, especially along this edge, as I think I want to put some bushes along here. Oh, that's gonna look so good on the podzol, actually. I'm really hoping you can bone meal these. Oh my gosh, you can. Thank goodness. Okay, so sweet berry bush, regular bush. Sweet berry bush, regular bush. Thoughts? I think that's quite nice. One of the things I will have to work out with this build is where exactly I'm going to end this sort of fence pattern. I do think that'll be easy though, as I should be able to work it into the terrain on either side and kind of trick your eye into just forgetting about it and then maybe bringing it back in a couple of other spots around the side. Oh, what an entrance. I like this. I think this is absolutely begging to be a little bit spikier with some lanterns on. You know what? Maybe even a head block would be appropriate here. Hold on. Do I just use my head? These obviously won't be rendered in from a distance, but they could be a nice up-close detail. Like this, and then my head there. That might look a little bit corny. I don't know. But it is kind of cool, right? Because it doesn't look great. Maybe I can fix it with an armor stand, but like, I don't know. I think on the world download, especially when people are visiting here, they can see exactly who lives here, but yeah. I'm not sold. I think maybe instead of a red head block there, we find like a wither skelly skull. That could look really good. Actually, a wither skelly skull would also look really good right here as almost like a grotesque. I would next like to work on a little bit of this walkway, I think. So every 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Every 7 blocks, I think I'd like to place some sort of lantern, and then maybe every second one, we do like an actual light post. Like so. Just something simple. I don't really want it to be too tall, because while you're walking here, I really want you to see all of this base. Like, I don't want this to narrow in your view too much. That's pretty good though. And then we do exactly what we did on the bridge and just border it in iron bars. One final detail along the edge here. What if we just planted some hedges like this and every now and then kind of randomly threw in a rose or some sweet berry bushes? Right. Leaving and entering this mega base just got a lot better. I really like this. I'm so glad I let myself get distracted. Oh, look how good this is. Obviously, long way to go still, but gosh, every episode we are making so much progress towards a finished mega base, and I could not be happier. Thank you for following my progress so far. I appreciate you. This build truly has been my passion project for the last few months, and I'm just kind of addicted to building it. I want to be on here all the time. Thanks for all your ideas and suggestions in the comments. I appreciate you all, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye, everyone.